Hey everybody, ReefGrrl here, and welcome to ReefGrrl Live. I am so happy you could make it. The whole idea here is to have some fun, chat, get some questions answered, maybe show off what you're doing, and get to know each other a little bit better. So sit back, relax, grab a drink. The stream is about to begin. Hi everybody, how's it going? Let me get rid of this so you can actually see me. There we go. Nice to see you all. You can see behind me, I have a photograph of my fish room. And these are my two tanks. I gotta get the hang of this. There's Mollywood right there on my right. And the other tank is right here. Amathia's garden. I'll turn this way so you can see more of it. Yeah. So that's where I work every day when I'm working on my tanks. Let's say hi to everybody in the chat. I did send out some invitations with a link to come into the studio to a bunch of people who have been in here before. If you do want to come in, then please just shoot me an email at reefgrrl@gmail.com and I'll send you the link. No account needed, no password, no app to download. Just click on the link, write your name in as you would like it presented on the screen, and you'll be in. So I'll keep an eye on my email and see if I get anything coming in with requests for that. All right. Thanks for coming, all you early birds. We've got the Salty Reef. Hey, Salty Reef. Hi, Benny Fernandez. Yavi Gwaltney. Hey, Yavi, thanks for stopping by, and I'm very glad you got the package. That's wonderful. Kimber Reefs, nice to see you. Richmond Reefer. Hey, Jose, I did send you an email with the link. If you want to show us everything you've been doing lately with your new sump, and seems to me you got some nice looking corals based on what I've seen on Instagram. AL, we need a fish room tour. Yeah, it's probably time I did another fish room tour. Not a lot has changed, but a few things. And the tanks themselves are mature now, I feel. And so a lot of things have changed in there as well. T40, how are you doing, T40? Always nice to see you. Braveheart Reefer, thanks for coming by. I know what time it is where you are, and it's pretty darn late, or well, I guess I should say early in the morning. Just got a DIY. Hey, Paul. Paul, would you like me to send you the link to come in the studio? Maybe you have some stuff that you could show us that you've been working on this week. Odile Volmar, am I saying that right? Hey, Odile. Oh, send it to me, Richmond Reefer. Yeah, I did. So I can try again and just make sure. It will come from my personal email because that's how I'm signed in to YouTube. So, and actually on this computer. So look in your junk folder. The subject line should say StreamYard, invitation from StreamYard, and maybe that's where it went. Okay, Benny's Adventures. Benny Fernandez, Benny's Adventures. I don't know if you're the same person or not, but, you know, welcome to both of you. Jessica J, hello. Crazy Reefer, hello. Broke Reef Man, 45. Hey, Broke Reef Man. Oh, I see. Benny Fernandez, that's Marine Life. Yeah, we've seen you here before, Marine Life. Paul says he'll hop in, but the tank is the same state as last time. That's fine. You can tell us all the other stuff you've been up to. I saw on Insta you're making up the coral viewers to sell them. So if you want to put a plug for that, that would be awesome. Falcon Quick. Hey, Falcon Quick. Nice to see you. And Jessica J said hi. Murphy's Aquatics. Hey, Pat. How are you doing? Nice to see you too. If you want to pop in for a minute, if you can. I don't know if you're home yet. I know you were away visiting John today. Oh, here's Broke Reef Man. Broke Reef Man has sent me an email with a bunch of pictures for tonight's live stream. And I wanted to say Brian Eccles did send me some photos. And I tried to upload them and it wasn't working for some reason. I don't know if it's the format is different. I always use JPEGs. I know there's a maximum size, but I don't know off the top of my head what it is. And for best results, they need to be landscape. If they're portrait, they're just a really narrow slice of the photo shows up. So landscape works the best. So yes, Broke Reef Man, I'll take a look at your pictures once we get some people talking in here, and I can take a minute and get them uploaded. Thanks for sending those. Billy Pipes, he's working on a few things, but is listening. T40, thumbs up, everybody, when you come in. That'd be great. If you could do that, I would love it. Hey, Marcus's Reef, Scott Morrison. Hi, everybody. Everything's just popping here tonight. Hey, Drama D, nice to see you. We've got 18 people in here already, and we've been live for like 6 minutes. So that's wonderful. So I did some fragging, and my fragging was my Pectinia. Finally, there will be a video, and I'm collecting all the little clips of footage where I said, I got to frag this thing. I got to frag this thing. The algae's overgrowing. I got to frag this thing. I'm sure I've said it a dozen times at various points for the last several months. So I finally did it. And I took my frags to the local fish store, got some really good money for them, along with a beautiful Cinerina coral. And that is now in my tank. And I kept 3 frags. One is to give to a friend, and the other 2 are for me, one for grow out purposes and the other to have a colony in my tank again, because I find it grows really fast. So that was my exciting happening this week. Fragged them last Sunday and took them to the fish store on Friday. They were already starting to heal. And I believe that's got a lot to do with the high alkalinity that I've been building up in there, because Space Invader Pectinia loves good alkalinity and stable. Hey, Chimp the Reefer, and he says, hey, Reef Girl and everyone, nice to see you. Hey, who else we got here? Scott Morrison, 2:07 a.m. here too. Oh, Scott. So where are you? I'm assuming in the UK somewhere, or Europe. And Jessica J says, eggs are still on the frog spawn. I'm assuming maybe clownfish eggs. My clownfish laid eggs again. And this time I actually got to see them. They're still there, so they haven't hatched yet. I was away helping my daughter with our new grandchild the first time they laid eggs about 3 weeks ago, and I missed most of it. Hey, American Reefing. Nice of you to come by. Let's see what I can do here with some of these green screen images. Yeah, what I'll try to do is, as I said, once I get a guest in here and I can put them up on the screen so you don't have to look at the top of my head while I'm looking down and trying to download this stuff, then we'll go through some pictures that people have sent. Hey, Monica, PR Fish Girl is here. Very nice to see you. And Phil, Reef Keeper. Phil is helping a friend set up a calcium reactor, but listening in. Oh, that's great, Phil. Calcium reactors. I understand there's one on the way to me. Well, I have to go pick it up in Niagara Falls at my US mailing address, but more about that later. I might do an unboxing when I finally have it. Who else we got? Oh, Link. Okay, Paul, I will send you the invite right now. Let me just see. And we will get this going. I think it's P, starts with a P. Oh, maybe not that. There we go. All right, it's coming your way, Paul. Just got a DIY. Should have it momentarily. Benny Fernandez has a question. What's the golden rule of having the amount of corals in a tank? I don't know. I don't know if there's any golden rule other than don't do it do too much too fast, because you need to make sure you can maintain the ones you have as they establish themselves and start to grow. That's what I would say. Make sure you know what they all need and that you can provide most of it. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else has any comments. All right, we've just got a DIY. There he is. Oh, there's a tank. Hey, Paul.
How's it going?
Good. Benny Fernandez, nitrate 5 to 10, phosphorus super high. Oh, I see. You're talking about levels in your tank there, Jessica. T40. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Alex G. Hey, Alex, let me know if you want the link, and I will send it over to you, because I know you've always got stuff going on. Odile Volmar wants to know how long it took to grow the big pink mushroom. That is a toadstool, and it is what I call RG weepy toadstool. It was sold to me as a weeping willow, but it isn't a true weeping willow. The tentacles get about 1.5 inches long, but they don't flop over in the absence of flow, which I understand is the weeping willow. They're always upright, and that took, I want to think now, probably about 10 months to go from a disc the size of a quarter to something that's probably 5 inches across. And I believe it's at a position now where I could probably frag it. So I might be doing some of that. And what's the golden rule for corals? When you got to stack them on top of each other. That's the rule. Yeah. Yep. Broke Reef Man says golden rule money. That can be true, but you know what? If you buy a $10 no name at your local fish store that looks a little brown and take good care of it, sometimes you end up with wonderful surprises from that.
Absolutely. I can attest to that. I got one that I just liked the polyp extension on it, but it was just all like a dark forest green color with a bunch of polyps. I brought it home. It turned into all kinds of crazy colors over the months.
Nice. Yep, you just never know. And every tank is different. So every time you get one of those, it could be different than if you give it to a friend and what they have.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm just sending the link to Alex. So Paul, do you want to show us your coral viewers that you're making?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have one coming out that I have never seen made before. Can't say anything about it yet. I gotta get one made, but this is just like a standard one. Fits the iPhones. And then there's ones for nano coral, for nano tanks.
Oh, that's cool.
And the clear piece is actually recessed in
Yep.
like a 1/16 of an inch, so you can set it down any which way. You don't have to worry about it scratching and stuff. Just when you put it in an angle, and then it doesn't catch the air. So pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, in the chat just now, they're talking about everybody seems to have dinos lately. Drama D is having some problems with that.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. It's like when one person gets it, they all get it. It's like the salt companies are throwing it in there to make it more water or something.
No nutrients. Yep. Oh, we have Alex G. Let's add him up to the screen here. Hey, Alex, how's it going?
Going good, everybody.
Good.
Happy Saturday.
Yep, same to you. We got snow today. Not a lot, but a little bit.
What's not a lot up in Canada? Like a foot?
Yeah.
Or a meter?
No, we're not in Newfoundland. I think not a lot is about 1/2 inch. Just enough to make everything white and slippery. Because people still don't know how to drive in it.
It happens every year here when I lived in Michigan and Chicago.
Yeah.
People forget every year.
Yep. Let's take a look at Paul's. Are you still there, Paul?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Oh, good, good. So you got that nano, and I noticed you said you've recessed the clear piece. That is a great idea, because then you won't scratch it either.
Yep. So I don't know. I just like the fact that it was smaller. You know, a lot of people have smaller tanks, so
Yep.
they don't really need huge that's going to take up, a quarter or half of their tank.
Yeah. Nice.
But I'm working on something with the canopy doors. I'm trying to make them like lift. Hang on, see if I can do this. Like lift up and down like this. I actually have some motors. I don't know if you guys. There we go. Some motors that I got a hold of, and I'm gonna see what I can make happen. I don't really know if I'm gonna be able to do it because I'm gonna have to buy like some hinges and stuff for right here and right there for it to ride up to. They're like bearinged hinges.
Right.
I don't know. It'll take a little bit of work, but I think it would be worth it. It'd be pretty cool.
Hey, I'm assuming you've looked on YouTube for videos of people doing that.
Absolutely not. You know how I do things the hard way.
Oh man. Oh, ReefGrrl. Yes, I just now got your email, and I'll correspond with you about that. And yeah, and maybe I don't know if I can give you any pointers, but I've only been doing this for 4 years, so I don't know what use I'm going to be. Awoken is here. Hey, Awoken. And Monica, you want the link? I'll be glad to send it to you. Abe Rosecrans says he misses snow. Well, I just don't like having to get around in it. Let's get this link sent to. Oh yeah, Monica. Sorry. You guys can chat. Alex, what are you up to tonight in the fish room?
Oh, do my usual feeding everybody and put a new light on my big tank today. So
Another Radeon?
yeah, the big fish tank needed a new light. The old AI Vega colors were just starting to slowly die. So I put a ReefGrrl strip on there.
Oh, okay.
So Alex, how
Yeah,
long would that be? That light, like 48 inches, 64, like 60, 72?
I got a 72-inch Lumilight Pro. That's 50/50, so half daylight, half a 10.
Right.
So seems to be. It's kind of funny because I look at the tank and it's been looking just blue for so long. I'm kind of forgot how colorful half my fish are.
That is so true. I run my tanks very blue. You can probably see from the green screen when I get back on screen. And even from my logo, that's what the light looks like in my fish room all the time. And it's very true. When you add the whites, things are very different as far as colors go for livestock that's not coral.
Yeah. Two of my 3 lights only had blues running, and I only had one with white, and I still kept that one on for now, so I could do a little bit of a day-night ramp up. But yeah, huge difference.
Yep. Hey, Drew Janes. Drew says they've got 6 inches of snow overnight and high winds. Yeah, that's the main problem. I mean, if we only get an inch, that inch can turn into a 3-foot snowdrift with the right kind of wind. And that's what makes it hard to get around. And Awoken says fish look so much better under whites. Very true. Oh, Abe has sent me an email. There it is. So, Alex, we missed most of your water change last time, unfortunately.
No, it's all right. It's not the most fascinating of things to watch. It's just nice because there's no buckets involved when I'm doing it.
Yep. Hey, Carlos 23. Well, I know I've been talking about moving for quite a while. Hey, Carlos, you're my favorite too. And today we looked at a house, and believe it or not, this house has the perfect room for my fish room on the main floor. And directly below it is a finished room with a suspended ceiling. And unfortunately, the joists run the wrong way. But fortunately, there's a beam, like a steel beam, right in the middle of where the tank would be. So it's looking like it could be totally possible to put a 7 or 8 foot tank exactly where I would want to put it in that room. And it would be resting on a steel beam that's sitting on the foundation. So we would have to do limited shoring up on either side of it just to keep it level. But so that was kind of exciting. We haven't bought the house, but we can't really find anything wrong with this house. And it's only 15 minutes away from where our daughter and her husband and our new grandchild lives, instead of 45 minutes away, which is where we are now. So I was mighty excited when I saw that steel beam, because when I saw the rafters were running, or the joists were running parallel to the tank, I was really thinking it was not going to work. So we'll see. Wish me luck.
Definitely good luck to that.
Yeah. So does anyone know of do you mean Radion nano tank light? He's thinking of the AI Hydra Prime, but wondering if Radion did one. I don't know. I don't know a lot about Radions because I stop looking when I see the price, because I'm cheap when it comes to that. Do they make like a smaller version that you could use over a nano tank?
Yeah, they got the XR15, which is like the half size of a 30.
Right.
At, 2/3 to half the price. So they're still a little pricey, but they do make that.
Yeah. Okay, we have somebody else to come in. There she is, PR Fish Girl.
What's up, everybody?
Nice to see you, Monica.
Glad to finally make it.
Yeah, that 200 is coming along really nice.
Slow, but it's coming.
Yep. Well, slow is good. Right?
That's for sure.
Awesome. So where are you in your cycle? I saw from your Instagram today, it looks like your ammonia's down to like almost nothing.
Almost nothing. Yeah, I'm going to still wait it out until it's completely zero. I think maybe another couple of days it should be good.
Yep.
Everything else is good.
Yeah, I always only ever test ammonia and nitrate. As soon as I hit nitrate of around 50, I know I'm done.
Yeah, last week it was probably about 10. I haven't touched it since, and I touched it today, and it's like 50 plus maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm due for a water change, but my heater in my saltwater bin ended up dying. So I ordered one real quick for like $9 off of Amazon for tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, so
good.
I'll do a water change, get that situated.
That really feels like things can go. As soon as you do that first water change is when you feel like you're on the way.
And I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm tired. I just want everything downstairs so I can do everything here instead of running up, running down.
Yep. Hey, Sharbuckles Reef, nice to see you. It's been so long. It just feels like the regular live streams where we all used to chat to each other. So Sean, I guess you're in the midst of putting together another setup. So maybe in the near future we can see what you're doing. because I want to see Mama's new home if that's where she's going to be going. That would be awesome. Just got a DIY. Can't hear or see us. Oh, that's weird. We have Jose here, Richmond Reefer. Hey, Jose, how are you?
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
There we go. Fixed it.
I see some freaky looking lights, but now I see a tank.
Yeah. It's my little nano / frag tank in the background.
And so how's your sump progressing?
What's funny is somebody was asking about the Ecotex Radion light, and that's what's above this frag tank.
Oh, nice.
And what is that, XR15?
Yes, XR15 Gen 4 Pro. I recently got it because the Gen 3 that I had died, and I sent it to Ecotech, and 3 days later, at extremely discounted rate, they sent me a Gen 4 Pro, brand new.
Wow, that's awesome.
So you pay a little bit more, but they stand behind their products. I mean, that light was 5 years old. I bought it used. I ran it a year, and it died, and now I have this light.
I gotta love good customer service.
It's phenomenal customer service. I called them on the phone. They answered immediately, took care of the issue, sent me everything I need to know about sending it out. I shipped it on Thursday, and they received it on Friday. And then by Wednesday, I had my new light.
That's amazing.
Yep. I was just down in Allentown today checking out something fishy. I wish they were open.
Yeah, I've been trying to get together with Billy and get a tour.
First time there. It's a nice little place.
Nice that that's local for you guys. That would be awesome.
Well, I mean, it's about an hour and 20 for me drive each way.
Yeah,
But
well, that's not so local. Drew James is asking if any of you guys can show him a hawkfish. Did I just see one go by, Alex? Yeah. Is that a hawkfish?
I have one, but he's upstairs in the sump.
I got two. That's my big guy there.
That's your long nose, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how big would that fish be? Because usually you see them and they're like tiny.
Well, there's a full-grown Bengal cardinal. I say he's almost 6 inches tip of the snout to the tail.
Wow.
I've never seen one that big.
Yeah, he's a monster. I mean, well, there's a sailfin tang next to him and a little cleaner bass.
Cool. Hey, yeah, Dr. Welsh Magic. Welcome. Sorry, Alex. Go ahead.
Oh, no. You're good. I got him as a baby. Let me see if I can find the other one.
Drew James, I think it was, is asking if Carlos... Oh, no, that was the hawkfish. Someone's asking if Benny Fernandez wants to know if we can see your reef tank, Jose.
Yeah.
So, yeah, get a bit closer. Where did the sump go? The sump went under, your new sump went under a different tank, right?
Under my 75-gallon.
Right.
I still haven't done it yet.
Still?
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, I can relate to nerves holding you back. Happens to me all the time.
You see, I have to drain my tank, move my tank from the wall. I have to fill it back up, put the heater up top, all that stuff, plumb it, and then get it all back together.
Yeah, that's going to be a military operation.
But wait a minute, Jose, why do you have to pull it away from the wall?
Because it has a center brace.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Insane Reefer, Chad Kurtz, welcome.
Hey, Cindy, whoever was asking for the hawkfish, tell him I'll give him mine.
That was, now let me find that again. I should have put that up on the screen. Drew James, Yep, Drew, I believe, is a fellow Canadian. He lives in out west. So what kind of hawkfish is it, Monica?
You know, it's not like the one Alex has there. He's a little lighter in color. I got to get a picture, but he ate my shrimp. He ate 2 of my firefish.
Wow.
He bullied my blenny. He's in the sump.
Is it a Falco's hawkfish?
Something like that.
Yeah. Those are known to be aggressive, as opposed to the long nose. The long nose just seem to kind of hang around and watch. There's the flame hawk.
Yeah, the flame
that
hawk
Alex is showing us. Yeah, I love my flame hawk. He is so comical. I've never seen him go after anything. Doesn't mean he won't.
Right.
But, you know.
I mean, I didn't think the firefish were big enough for him to eat. I mean, I thought they were big enough for him not to eat. But he ate them. He got them when they were sleeping.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not his biggest fan.
Huh.
Yeah, there's some pretty big and aggressive species of hawkfish out there, and I know those falcos they start to be in the more aggressive range with them.
Yeah. Hey, Tina's Reef, welcome. So, Alex, have you noticed that the fish grow faster in such a big tank?
I would have to say not necessarily, because some of these fish have grown really quickly, while others have not grown nearly as fast.
Right.
The clown trigger, for instance, I mean, that thing was the size of a damsel, and now it's probably about 5.5, 6 inches long. And that's within a little over a year, whereas like my porcupine hasn't really grown much of anything.
Yeah. Bellistoides conspicillum. That's the clown trigger. I just, every time I hear the Latin name, I think, yep, it's conspicuous, all right.
Excuse the cat, everybody.
Any downfalls to the hawkfish? Coral nipping, peaceful towards shrimp and other invertebrates. Well, I have never had a problem with my flame hawkfish, but I have heard others who claim that they are murderers of shrimp.
They're killers.
Yep, and I think it's the relative size. So if you have a small shrimp that it can fit in its mouth, it might be going to go after it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd agree. They're opportunistic. I mean, their whole life in the wild is basically to perch and wait for things. So if something comes by that's going to be a quick meal, they'll take advantage.
Yeah, exactly. So Benny Fernandez, anybody familiar how to calibrate the Eheim Jager heater? He's been troubleshooting his for 3 days and it's now regulating correctly. That's the one that has the outside ring and the inside dial, and you have to get both set properly. Is that right? And if so, I'm not sure. I don't know either whether there be a video somewhere. If there isn't and yours is working, maybe you should be making a video. Just saying. My whole life is, would that make a good video? Like moving the tank. And tomorrow we're going to our daughter's for the Super Bowl and to watch the Super Bowl. And I'm working on the aquarium we're setting up there to act as a staging tank for when I have to move my stuff out of this house to turn my room back into a bedroom so we can sell it. And it's suddenly become more of a priority. So, yeah.
Selling soon?
We don't know yet. We have to wait and see what sort of terms we can figure out and whether we go ahead with it. So we found a place. It's looking real good.
Nice.
But there's still a few things to figure out. So look at that hawkfish. So yeah, Benny Fernandez, that's because, you know, when you get into this YouTube thing, your whole life becomes content for YouTube.
Or Instagram.
Yeah, or Instagram. True. It's just easier. It's more
a lot quicker. Yeah.
It's more Insta.
God, come on.
Aw. His name is Thor, right?
Yeah, the white one.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Broke Reef Man says he's a beautiful cat.
Oh, thank you. He's very needy.
Yeah, I have a big male cat that would do that too if I let him, because he just wants to be scratched all the time.
Oh, yes. I've never, these two, they're brothers, and they are the most lovable cats I've ever met. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. Come on, bud. I love you too, but let's scoot over. All right.
David L. Hey, David L. I don't think I said hi to you yet. He says his flame leaves his scarlet cleaner alone. And
that's nice.
That could be that size thing, unless it's a tiny, tiny scarlet cleaner.
Yes, I got 2 cleaners and 1 blood shrimp in the reef tank, and then, well, my I believe I still have 2 cleaners in my big tank, but they don't venture out during the day for obvious reasons.
They're smart shrimp.
Yeah, the shrimp I had, he never came out. So the hawkfish went in and got him.
Uh-oh. Yeah, like I said, the falcos, that's... I had a chance to get one that was a decent size, and I read up on them and found out about the aggression thing.
I mean, I figured the fish, small enough, but I just thought my firefish were big enough for him not to bother.
Right.
But I guess because they were thin.
Yeah.
Every morning I woke up with a head sticking out of his mouth.
Oh my God. Couldn't even swallow it all.
Nope. He was such a pig.
Greedy fish. Hey, Skookum Chuck Reefer. Welcome. And we have Billy Pipes in the waiting room here. So what do you think, guys? Should we let Billy Pipes come in?
Billy.
Yeah, why not?
I think you should definitely give him a question, though.
Oh, the troll question. All right.
Oh.
All right, we'll do that. He's smiling. Here we go. Hey, Billy.
I'll remember you all.
Wait, so we're going to do the troll question before we talk to you, all right? So here's the troll glasses. And I am the troll guarding the bridge into the studio, and you have to answer this question. And usually it's not a hard question. It's just kind of an icebreaker, because it may be hard to believe, but there might be people in here who don't know Billy Pipes. So Billy. All right. So in one sentence, describe your first reef tank. That's not really a question, but please, could you in one sentence describe your first reef tank?
One sentence?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to think of a good one that sums it all up. I would say that one sentence that best describes my first reef tank. Man, I'm trying to come up with something without any curse words in it.
Believe me, we get a lot of answers to this question that are basically one word.
Right? I would have to say everything was hang on the back. And I mean everything.
That's very good, because those of us who started with that can completely relate.
I had to hang on the back refugium.
Yeah.
There was so much stuff sticking in the back of that tank. Holy cow. Multiple hang on the back filters, a reactor, skimmer, heater. Oh, man. Such an eyesore.
I started my first reef tank with a hang on the back that had a built-in protein skimmer that was horrible and never ran.
Yeah.
Well, my first tank was given to me, and I knew so little that I thought the little chamber underneath the internal skimmer, it was actually a bubble trap. I thought that was a sump. But that was in like 2010. It was before YouTube, really. Well, yeah, early 2011, before I knew about YouTube, and I just kind of, I don't know. I don't even know where I learned stuff back then.
I have one word: bio balls.
Bio balls.
Yeah. I if anyone remembers, when I started my first saltwater tanks, I had quicksand filters, which were not a smart idea.
Quicksand. Okay.
Yeah, it was a form of a fluidized bed filter that was filled with a silica-based sand and basically a really great nitrate factory.
Wow. I was picturing you put a rock on the bottom and it would just completely suck it in. And you didn't want to put your hand down there just in case. Billy. Hey, little bit of a reef. Sorry, Monica, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I thought Billy had those set up already.
You know, it's difficult for me.
The easiest thing in the world.
No, I know. I'm just saying it's difficult for me to accept it
Oh,
and let it be a thing, you know?
but
Just do it.
doesn't the freedom make you just want to do it?
Well, Richmond Reefer knows how I feel right at this very moment.
Oh, I know how he feels.
I was just
He
complaining.
doesn't trust it.
Here's a question from Jay Engel for about the Hanna calcium checker. How often should it be calibrated? If you mean, Jay, using the little vials that tell you whether your checker is in range, whether it's still reading properly, I don't know, once a month. I don't know if there's an actual answer to that, but you can't actually do any calibration. If you use those little vials and your reader gives incorrect readings, I think you have to just contact Hanna and they send you a new one.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Skookum Chuck Reefer says one of his best setups was hang on back.
Right?
Oh, he found out today that his is testing 70 over. I guess you would have compared it to another type of test kit. So I would, you can buy those 2 little bottles. They're two cuvettes. One's got plain water in it, and the other has a predetermined value of solution. And you just use those in your checker and see whether the number is within the range that they say. And if it is within the range that they say, then your checker is working correctly. If it's not within that range, then it's basically junk. That's what I have understood from them.
Is he using RODI water with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was actually just talking to Pat about it and Richmond Reefer a little bit ago because it's very, very easy to set up, right?
Yep.
Hold on, let me move this. Maybe you can see it. Very easy to set up. But you know me, I don't trust robots, okay? So
Not a robot, Billy.
calibrating it, yeah, I'm like Will Smith from iRobot. I don't trust him. So I do the calibration, yada yada yada. I do the whatever, mark it. I do 10 mils, manually dose 10 mils, and it's right on the dot. It's perfect. So then I try doing 9 mils, and it adds 9.2. And then I do 10 mils, and it makes it perfectly 10, 9.2, 10, 9.2, back and forth. I'm like, so then I do my nightly dose on it, right? Where I make it an exact total of 60 at the end of the night. So I add 10, then I add 12, then I add 18, and I add 14 or 16, whatever. I make all these weird numbers up to add 60, but it ends up being 64. which I know is not a big deal. I get it.
Yeah, but it's cumulative though, right? So if it happens once in a while, it's not a problem. But if it keeps, Jay Engel says he's used three other test kits about his calcium.
Sometimes it's hard to compare different test kits with each other.
Yeah, because the precision varies from one to another. And Carlos 23 has a question for you, Billy.
Oh boy.
How do you love your radions? I don't think this is a technique question, okay? So keep it clean.
I'll tell you what. He's been busting on me, and as soon as I set up the 2, I was like, nah, whatever. I had T5s, Reef Brights. I had all kinds of stuff up there with the radions. And then, Pat was at my house, and I'm like, dude, take my T5s home with you. And I'm like, the only way I'm going to really get a true radion feel is if I get rid of everything else. So I went with the 2 radions, and now I have 3, and I have a 4th one coming. So
wait a minute, you're putting 4 on the 75?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
There you go.
I mean, right now I have 2 XR15s on the right-hand side, and like my Zoas were acting really crappy. And then as soon as I put that other one on, like grade A looking, like trophy winning zoanthids right now.
I told you that 75 needs more than 2.
Yeah, I know the recommendation is 2 for like up to a 90-gallon tank, but I mean, you could run a tank, but yeah, 4 is the mark.
Yep.
Wow. So I assume they're fairly close to the water then.
I have them 10 inches off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could go higher because I don't have the intensity up that high.
Yeah. Insane Reefer wants to know, Billy, if you remember the hang on back overflows.
I still have them.
The CPRs?
I still have them. I had a 40-gallon long, which was the same dimensions as a 55, but shorter. And I went overkill on it. I had 2 Fluval I think they were Fluval 110s. I have it in a box right here. I had 2 of those on it, and I still have those hang on the backs for like QTs or like emergencies or whatever, because they just never stopped working. But yeah, it was actually an aqua clear, not the Fluval, the aqua clear, which is the same thing.
I have always been paranoid about anything outside my tank that gets water in and out of it for fear of leaking. I'm too paranoid about it. Richmond, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, just Carlos, Richmond Reefer. Carlos, he wants you to join in the stream and show off the tridents.
Yeah,
tridents?
That trident.
Woo.
Jealous.
Trident.
He sent me a picture of it, and I could see his reflection in the tank of himself taking the picture. And he was like, I think he was like, I don't know, he might have been like touching his chest while he was taking the picture. Sorry, Carlos.
Kimber Reefs is asking what you're setting up. It's the Camor single head dosers, right? Dosing pumps?
Yeah. Yep, the X1.
Yeah. Hey, Straight Reefer. Thanks for coming by. Oh, Carlos says he can't because he's at the cigar shop. Carlos, you spend a lot of time at the cigar shop.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen you say that before. David L. says he has 2 XR15s on a Red Sea Reefer 170.
How many gallons is that?
I believe it's about 40, 45, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Was it a 3-footer?
No, I think the 250 is the 3-footer. I think the 170 is 24 inches. If I might be wrong, but
oh wow, should be getting some good growth out of that.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, have you tried doing 10 milliliters to equal up to 60 and see if that works right?
Yes, and it does.
Okay, so there you go. You solved your problem.
I know. I just got it dosed by tens, right?
Yeah. Everything
Hold
right.
on. I'm actually gonna use my old phone, so I'm gonna back out and then come right back in.
Okay. Oh my God, it's me. Let's get a bunch of you up here. So if anybody's wondering, because we haven't talked about it yet tonight, behind me is a photograph of my fish room. And
That's
I have
what that is.
Yeah, I have a green screen now.
I thought that was real.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that's
Dude,
cool.
on location in the fish room. But it's actually a green screen. The streaming service made that feature available a couple weeks ago. And actually, we tried it out last weekend. And I really like it. It's much nicer than looking at the armchair with the dog all curled up, licking herself right now that's behind me. Let's do this. This is better. So Richmond Reefer, Jose, earlier someone asked to see your tank, and I know you got in real close. Are you able to get in close again and maybe talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
See if I can get it a little bit closer.
There we go. I put you up full screen.
What's in the box?
True.
2 mushrooms.
Mm.
Let me take y'all off the tripod. Well, I'll just pick the tripod up.
So what's this tank specifically going to be? Zoas?
I'm just growing out zoas and putting frags in it. It's still very young. I still got diatoms I've been fighting, but they're getting better.
Well, that'll go away.
Yeah, eventually. It's just going to take time.
Yeah.
Looks pretty. Hey, Zane Quattrucci. Sorry. Saying hi to great Zane Quattrucci. Haven't seen him in a while. So sorry about that, Jose. Those colors are amazing.
Radions.
Yeah.
Radions. I do have to say, radions are very nice.
They are.
I really like mine.
You really can't knock them until you have them.
Yeah.
And then I would compare Ecotech to Apple. Their stuff's expensive, but it's done right.
There you go.
It is. Take these filters off.
Insane Reefer says he didn't notice that the fish weren't moving. I'm guessing that's my background photo.
I didn't notice that either. So don't feel bad. I didn't even notice there was no rippling of the water or anything.
Wow, nice. So do you know all the names of all of your zoanthids there, Jose?
The ones, so I just got most of these from the swap in Lancaster, and a lot of them are from Murphy's Aquatics.
Murphy!
Yeah, Murphy's the man. 2 of them are from Billy, but I don't remember all the names. So right there.
You can start making them up.
Well, they do have names. So hold on, let me see. Right there is the laser lemons. Right here are the rainbow Yodas.
Yodas? I got some of those. They're nice.
There are the WWC Twizzlers.
Twizzlers.
Sunny D's. Scrambled eggs. Purple Monsters. ASD Seductions. Green Bay Packers. Salted Agaves or White Zombies. I think those are called Hooligans. I'm not sure. And then these 2, I don't know. Up here, I know this is a very common one, but I don't know the name of it. The one up here on the
Oh.
on my finger.
Is that Bam Bams?
No, it's not a Bam Bam.
I think the
It's
red, the ones you pointed to at the bottom where you said you didn't know the two, the one on the right might be Candy Apple Reds. What I've seen as, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, it's
Does it have a red skirt?
no.
Okay.
Wait, which one is it, Jose?
I know if Murphy was here, he knows. And then
What's that red one in the middle?
which one?
Yeah,
That?
right there. Yeah.
I don't know.
Let me see.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's real bright. Oh, it's very bright. I wish I could focus.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
okay.
got you.
I wasn't watching, so I didn't know if I was still in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're up on the screen now. Sorry. I guess I should have
Green-
said something.
Those Green Bay
Then we
Packers are
got-
legit.
Pink zippers.
Hey, Lynn Reef Nerd. Wow. Pink zippers?
Yeah, right there.
Those are nice.
And then Nirvanas, a whole bunch of Nirvanas right there. And all these orange ones on these frag plugs right here and right there and right there are from this no-name colony that I have in my 75-gallon. And some people say it looks like My Chemical Romance. Some people says it looks like Fire and Ice, but it changes colors. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
See if I can get. It's hard to tell.
So I have a question for zookeepers, zoanthid keepers, I guess. Do you try to separate zoanthids and palithoa from each other because of their growth patterns and their size at all, or do you kind of set things up for color, or how do you organize them?
Hodgepodge.
Yeah. Exactly. Hold on. Let me hold on. Let me go to my 75. All right. So I kind of just throw them together and let them do their thing.
Wow. That looks amazing.
So I don't know what it is about me and zoas, but they grow like crazy. Some people say they have difficult and they're always closed. There's the colony of the ones that I told you that morph colors all the time.
Wow.
Back there are Bam Bams.
Okay.
So those are Lazy Lashes, and back there is Bam Bams.
Well, I bet you talk nice to them every night, don't you?
I don't. Oh, and here's my expensive babies up here.
Oh.
My hallucinations.
Wow.
They're growing like crazy.
Yeah, those are nice. We got a few of them going right now.
Yeah.
Skookum Chuck wants to know how long you've had them. Is it a specific one that you want to know, Skookum Chuck, or just when did Jose start collecting zoanthids?
So this it's funny. I'd never. So I used to hate zoanthids. Absolutely hate them. I mean, I didn't like them at all. I didn't want them in my tank. And then I got one, and it was the Utter Chaos right there, and that did it for me. Then I turned out to having all these zoas everywhere.
So Utter Chaos is the gateway zoanthid or palithoa.
Yeah, so just get that one, and then you're done. You end up with Hawaiian ding dangs. So up here, Hawaiian ding dangs. My lights are about to go off. Here's some more pink zippers, some rainbow incinerators, Miami Vice, Queen Strats, Jason Fox. Somebody help me. I don't know. Jason Fox, Stargazers, Lazy Lashes from Lazy Squirrel House in Dayton, Ohio. Bam Bams from Billy Pipes.
Nice. Richmond Reefer Jose, Carlos wants you to know he's smoking his father's cigars, El Centurion C. So there you go. Now you know.
There we go.
Is that a button skull you have there? That bright orange or bright yellow rather and green?
Right
Yeah.
here? No, that's a Lobo.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's just so bright.
Wow.
Back there is another Lobo.
Colors look great. Marcus's Reef says, could you repeat the last 10 seconds? Sorry, I couldn't hear what y'all were saying. There was a Chinook flying over my house fairly low. I guess the military isn't reefing tonight. Or maybe they are.
I like this technology.
I'll go back to the frag tank. The light's brighter in there.
Uh-oh, Billy's liking technology. Did everybody hear that?
You say he's liking?
I
We're
tried
all-
to say it. I tried to wait for somebody to talk when I said it.
We're all witnesses, Billy. So, Jose, now this is your frag tank. So this, I assume, is where you're going to like quarantine coral before you put it in your display, or is this a true frag tank where you're going to start making frags that you can distribute among your friends and sell and all that?
So this is ones where when I cut stuff from my display tank, I'll be putting in here to sell or trade to friends.
Right.
So these right now are all growing out. I'm growing all these out, along with the Miami Hurricane chalice. But up for grabs is these zoas over here and these two right here. All the framers in the back are up for grabs. And yeah, that's what I got right now. I also have a big, huge Aussie splattered hammer that I'm going to be cutting with the Dremel soon. And I'll probably be filling up this whole section because it's 20 plus heads and the size of probably 3 softballs together.
Wow.
Jeez.
And it's got to go because it's taking stick estate from my rock skate. And as Monica knows, I have a stick problem right now, along with the zoanthid one.
I think we all have a stick problem. Well, maybe except for Billy.
Yeah, I don't trust myself to keep expensive sticks. I do have some. They're doing really well right now. And I am touching wood, and I'm not saying that too loud so they can't hear me.
Yeah, don't let them hear you.
No. So
all my new ones are sitting in a frag tank till they grow out a bit.
Jose, that Rhodactis is gorgeous. Is that a bounce of some type, or are you hope?
No, well, it looks like it has bounces on it, but I don't know if that's just its texture.
Right.
And I picked this up at the Lancaster swap as well, and I got this from a buddy of mine, Coral Craze.
Oh yeah.
And he called these his forest fires.
Wow.
They're just so bright.
They're beautiful.
And they own there. That GSP is special because that is some Dave's Nano Tank.
Nice.
GSP. Some of
Yeah,
the
he had.
GSP I've ever seen.
He had that metallic one.
And Billy gave me that little frag, and it's already grown out pretty good.
Nice.
And I got this sticker on here. I don't know if you'll better read it, but the tank has been up since 9/13/2019.
So it's essentially only 4 months old.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, I could see where you still get the diatoms at that point, and you don't have a lot of rock in there either.
No, and I have 2 pounds of rock back here in a poly bag. There's
That'll
no
help.
skimmer.
Yeah, that'll help.
I shoved these socks in here because I still haven't got the. I shoved 2 socks in here. I still haven't got the trays, so I can run some type of pinky pad or something, but that'll be coming.
Oh yeah.
So what, you just
And
have
only
the Scopus
have
tag in
2
there?
fish. Huh?
I was gonna say you only have the Scopus.
I have the Scopus and I have the Mandarin.
Oh, okay. I don't see.
I've always wanted one.
Oh, there he is.
I've always wanted one, and I finally got one. Because before I put him in here, I put 2 bottles of Reef Nutrition Tigger Pods and 2 bottles of Reef Nutrition Apex Pods in here. And had him in there for about a month. And I put him in there a month later. And I recently just seeded it with another bottle of Tigger Pods and Apex Pods. Because I want to be successful. Since I started the hobby back in 2007, I always wanted one of those. And I finally built up the courage.
Is it a captive bred?
No. It's not a captive bred.
Yeah, apparently now the captive bred ones that are available are raised on frozen and other types of food, so much easier to keep.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen him go after any mysis or any other types of Reef Nutrition food that I've fed.
Right.
Catch him eating a boost, the TDO Chroma Boost. It's a pellet food that Reef Nutrition offers.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% sure if he was eating it or not.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, WVU Reefer and Calypsos Reefer in the chat. Anyway, sorry, Alex, you were going to say?
I was going to say with Mandarin, sometimes, like I haven't had any captive breds. I got a pair of spotteds. But I always noticed that while like mine have plenty of live stuff to eat, it's them seeing other fish eating other foods and stuff and being around them, or that everybody gets into feeding mode. Sometimes that'll trigger them to pick at it here and there.
Well, I did notice, because Scopus thing, he eats anything. I noticed he does act like he's more on the hunt and aggressive, after stuff and picking at stuff in the water when he's eating, when the Scopus is eating. So maybe that is the case.
Yeah, sometimes they're just looking for those movements and stuff. But I find a lot of tanks, even with a small refuge area, you can grow plenty of pods for everything.
But the Tigger Pods are super active. So, you can see them in the water when you add them.
Yeah, that's cool. I saw last night that the barnacle that my Midas Blenny lives in, I was shining the flashlight in there, and there are some of the biggest pods I have ever seen in my life. They're almost the size of shrimp inside this barnacle. So that must be where they hide during the day to stay away from the green wrasse, because he's always cruising, looking for whatever he can get. But they were huge.
It's a green chorus wrasse?
Yes, it's a jade wrasse, or it's Helicoris chloropterus, but it has never turned green. It's always been kind of a silvery beige color. And recently it's developed rainbow markings on its face. They're all ahead of the gills, and they're multicolored, really, really pretty, but quite subtle. You can only see them in certain lights. Oh, my cat just came downstairs and he's freaking out in the corner over here. Sorry.
Yeah, I noticed my yellow chorus wrasse is starting to get the rainbow markings.
Yeah, they're really pretty.
So here are the tigger pods. I don't know. Let me see. How can I show you? Here are the tigger pods. Can you see them? I had them in the refrigerator, so they're not moving as fast,
Oh, yeah.
but they are super active. So what I do is I plop the bottle in the water in the back, and once they heat up, they start moving more. And then I add them into the tank with the lights on.
And you don't really have anything else in there that's going to prey on them.
No. The Scopus tank actually eats them too.
Oh.
I was surprised.
That would be like a whale gathering plankton, I would imagine, because they're so tiny.
Well, he acts like he's starving all the time, but he's not. It's definitely a cow.
Nice.
But he'll be going in the 70 eventually. I'm real hesitant with tangs because the one I put in my 75 before got ick and died and took another fish with it.
Oh.
So I don't know. It makes me nervous.
There's somebody with a question about a gorilla crab. Broke Reef Man 45 found a 1-inch diameter gorilla crab last night. His wife doesn't want him to hurt it. He says he's going to use a glass with shrimp to catch him and wonders if it's a good or bad idea to put him in the sump.
Should be fine.
Can't see why.
What is a gorilla crab?
It's a bad crab.
Yeah, they're a hitchhiker. Generally, they're kind of a grayish or brown, sometimes a little reddish, and real big claws. But they'll feed on coral. They'll feed on fish. They'll basically anything they can grab, they'll eat it.
Do they look like an emerald crab?
They just kind of look like a standard run of the mill crab. Nothing special.
Good night, Doctor of Welsh Magic. Glad you could stop by. Oh, Kimber Reeves has a bad crab. This is great. You have to check out her Instagram. She has a pico tank with a bad crab in it with no firm ID yet, if I remember right. She doesn't quite know what it is. She just knows it's bad, but it's not a gorilla. And I think it's really awesome that she has given this crab his own kingdom.
That's pretty cool.
Land Shark Reefing, hello and welcome. We are up to 37 people watching right now. At one time, we got all the way up to 44. So this is awesome. Yeah, we've got a couple of discussions in the chat about stick addictions.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't get a stick.
It
leads
is.
to problems.
It's
and empty pockets.
Yeah.
It's such an addiction.
That's all I bought at the last live sale I was participating in.
It's like you can't help yourself.
All right, we have a request from Benny Fernandez to come on in, so I'm going to send him the invitation. This is a long email. And Hector, Calypsos Reefing, if you're still in here, I've been getting messages that your mailbox is full. So maybe that's why the invitations from a couple of weeks ago haven't reached you. So that's the email address that has the 3434 in it. That's the one that I have for you. If that helps you. All right, I've sent it. Land Shark Reefing. Blue Carbon Reefing is in the chat. He says, "Hey, Jose." And Marcus's Reef says he had a gorilla crab. He had no earthly idea for 2 years. He kept noticing slowly over time fish disappearing out of nowhere, and he watched his tank closely all the time. So I'm thinking they're a night predator.
Yeah, generally they'll have a house that they're living in, and yeah, they'll come out at night, or they'll only come out when something's there to grab real quick. They're pretty secretive.
I don't know if you guys follow Laminar Flow, but he had an arrow crab that he witnessed ambushing. I can't remember if it was a fish or one of his shrimp, but it would wait, and the creature would go underneath it, and it would drop down on it and devour it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's so horror movie like.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, we have Benny's Aquariums. So thanks, Jose. This has been a great tour. I absolutely love seeing all of this. It's when you can see all those colors, and maybe someday I'll have to change my mind and, somehow bring myself to pay the money for a Radion. I don't know. Good night, Falcon. Quick. Yeah. All right, here. Yeah. Here comes Benny's Aquarium. Hey, Benny's Aquarium, there you are.
Hey,
nice
guys.
to see you. Hey,
Good,
so
wonderful evening. What's going on?
Well, I guess it's time for the troll question. Let me see what I got for glasses over here. Oh, these are good. I put these on last week, but I don't think anybody saw them. Okay, so we have this troll question, and if you can imagine that I am the troll guarding the bridge into the studio, and this is the troll costume, and I have a question for you, and all you have to do is answer that question, and it's not meant to be hard. It's just an icebreaker, and we get to know a little bit about you, okay? So you've got your mic muted right now, just to let you know. There we go.
Sorry.
So, no problem. So your question is, do you know, within $100, how much you've spent on this hobby, in the last 12 months? And you don't have to give us a number. I've said this before. I will not be responsible for divorces. But do you have any idea how much you've spent within $100?
Can I just move my wife in the living room for a moment?
All you have to do is say yes or no. It is easy.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Awesome. Okay. Most people say no. So good for you. So what are we looking at here? Let me put you full screen. That looks really pretty.
Yep. So this is just a small nano tank. It's the AquaTop 24-gallon all-in-one. Let's see. See if I can move my camera. I got my torches right there, as you guys can see. They're about a few weeks old, I'd say. And I just turned off the light and turned it back on so you guys see it's actually retracted. Tiny. What else? Nothing crazy. I got the candy cane in the middle, right there. Got my little clam. I believe that's a Maximo clam, if you guys can see it. And a few frags at the bottom. So nothing crazy, and a couple of clownfish and a firefish. Let's see if you guys can see it on the top right corner. I have a week-old right over there. The bubble tip anemone, rainbow bubble tip anemone. And I got just a plain neon green hammer. That's pretty much it. Nothing really fancy. I've been in this hobby since August, I'd say, so almost 6 months now. And there's a lot of trial and error.
Oh yeah,
Yes, it is.
that is for sure.
So that's that.
Yep.
So that's why I joined, and yeah, I'm learning a lot from everybody in this group, so I can learn and move on.
Yep. And you know, sometimes you do have to learn the hard way.
Yep.
Sometimes there's just no other thing that happens.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. I have a few issues with my heater. Still trying to figure out how to calibrate that, like I mentioned before. Nothing else crazy. My water parameters are okay, so I don't have to worry about that. I do a once a week water change out of the 24-gallon. I try to do anywhere between 3 to 4 gallons. What else? Nothing crazy. I just love watching you guys. You guys are amazing.
It has to be fun, right? If it's not fun, then it's just too. I mean, even the heartbreaks, though they're not fun, they lead you to a better understanding and allows you to have more fun with it. I mean, that's how I look at it. Oh, we've got K-Reef Aquarium Hobby. That's Kevin. Kevin is joining us from the Netherlands, and I know it's the middle of the night over there. So thank you, Kevin, for stopping by. And we've got CJ. Hey, CJ's Aquarium, Saturday night. Happy Saturday, everyone. Same to you. What the heck have you been up to lately? I know you've got stuff going on with your tank. So what tank is this, Benny? Just so you know, yeah.
Sorry about that.
What is it? No problem. What is it?
This is a 24-gallon aqua top that I got from my local fish store. It's an all-in-one tank. Let me see if I can. So you guys are looking at the display right now. That's the main display. So if I scoot up a little bit, I'm sorry, my hands are shaking. Let's see. So we got that little sump in the back.
Yep.
With 4 chambers that I have there. So on the first chamber, I have a Chemi Pure Elite,
right,
with a Kato plant that goes down and back up. There's a little sponge right here at the bottom. Water goes back up into the protein skimmer.
Yeah.
And that's a custom protein skimmer by Aquatop. And if you can actually see it, it's working quite well.
Nice.
And all the bubbles and nasty stuff. From there, goes to the third chamber, which I have a media filter, all that protein and phosphate, nitrate removal, and all that mechanical filtration.
Yep.
And then the last one would be my auto top off, my magnesium dosing pump, and my auto top off, my magnesium, and the heater back there, which I'm working on.
Right. So
and that's it.
So do you regularly dose just magnesium? Do you do anything about calcium and alk at all?
No, I actually don't. My calcium has been really, really good. It's been stabilizing. I'd say about 420 to 460.
Nice, yeah.
So I really don't dose my calcium at all. My alkalinity is between 9 to maxing out at 11. if I don't do a lot of water change. My ammonia's always been 0.
Yeah, it should
My-
be. Yeah, if you have livestock in there, it should be.
Yeah. Nitrate is, I'd say, between 10 to 15.
Yep.
What else? Water is normal.
What is your magnesium level? I'm just curious because most times when people dose, they watch magnesium but don't regularly dose it. And the reason I ask is that I'm one who regularly doses it, and I find when my magnesium is around 1400 to 1450, my tank does really well. If it starts getting down into a range under 1300, then things start to look a little upset.
I normally dose about 10 milliliter a day, and throughout the day spread it out from 2.5 milliliter. So my magnesium is just staying around 1450 to 1500.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, I really don't do much, and I don't do a lot of work in here. It's just water change a couple of times a week.
The water change is good enough to replenish all your numbers, so that's good.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. Nothing really exciting. Nothing really big or drastic changes in the tank.
Right.
I actually, in the beginning, I used to take a sample of my water to my local fish store, and that's how I'd say every week, that's how I see the results of my water and how I do.
Right.
And from that point on, when I figure out, okay, this is my routine, I just stuck with it.
Yep. If you can do that, that's great, because that gives you consistency.
Right.
So hello, John Doe. Goodbye, Kevin. Kevin K. Reef Aquarium Hobby has to head out to work. CJ's Aquarium says he hasn't checked his magnesium one time the entire year. Definitely the forgotten parameter we assume is okay. Yeah, I can't remember where I first read about magnesium being important, but if you have a Duncan coral and it's not looking happy, chances are good it's because the magnesium is way down. And so that's kind of what first got me learning about magnesium. And without magnesium at the proper levels, it acts as a buffer for the calcium alkalinity to bind together to form the skeleton. So it needs to be there in the right quantity. If it gets too high, you risk your snails and other inverts becoming lethargic, and sometimes they can't stick to the glass and they perish. But I've always found 1400 to 1450 to be just about perfect.
It's definitely a good number.
Tina says she's using reef crystals and hers is 1560 to 1600. Wow.
Oh.
Is that just from one batch, or is that sort of consistent from one, I guess, bucket or box to the next? I wonder. David L. has a tank full of Montipora and it absolutely drinks magnesium. Yes, and also coralline algae is almost a sink for magnesium, where it uses magnesium to grow. Then when it starts to die, it'll release the magnesium back out into the water. So the question, WVU Reefer wants to know, how do you bring down mag? It is very hard. There's nothing that counteracts it. And I would say, as long as the salt you're using doesn't have high levels of magnesium, maybe increasing water change frequency might help. It's one of those ones you just have to allow to drop over time. There's nothing I know of, I guess, other than increasing calcium and alkalinity so that the basic elements are there to use up the magnesium. But I don't know if that's a wise thing to do unless you're really, really sure of what you're doing. I don't know if I'd try it myself without doing a lot of reading. GTA vids. Should I be worried about 1750? Yeah, I would, but what I would also do is try and use a different test kit and just see if you get the same kind of result, because it could just be your test kit if it seems to be extreme.
I didn't think most test kits go past 1500.
No, they don't. But what you can do is refill the syringe, and because the gradients are like every single number, or does it go up by twos? It goes up by twos. So 2 markings on your syringe. I'm thinking Salifert, right? Because I use the Salifert. So 2 lines on the syringe is a value of 30 on the magnesium chart. So if you added another 10 of the reagent to your syringe, and then deployed it, every 2 is another 30 units of magnesium.
Yeah,
so if you deployed 4, then that would be 60 more units of magnesium. So you can kind of extend that chart, because the other reagents in there, I'm pretty sure, go with the volume of water of the sample. So putting the, and again, I'm talking Salifert, putting the drops and the powder, those are all in proportion to the volume of the sample, which in my case is 2 milliliters. And then after that, when you add the liquid reagent, you can extend the test by refilling the syringe and keeping track that way.
Okay. I never tried that. Never had to, but
David L says if you bump calcium up to its highest level, magnesium will usually drop a bit. And CJ says CJ's excuse for not checking magnesium, it's being supplemented by the calcium reactor, so it's not completely ignored, and the calcium reactor buffers the tank parameters evenly, which makes a lot of sense. But there is there are times when you have to use those mag chips.
Yep, or just dose it separately.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I always keep some on hand, even though I haven't had to use it yet.
Yeah. Jessica J. Benny wants to know if you still have the rock flowers.
Yeah, actually, I do. I still have the 2 rock flowers. See if I can pull it up. They move from time to time. So it used to be at the bottom. If you can see back there, one is the size of a quarter and the other one is double the size of a dollar bill.
Oh, wow. They're right up at the top. So, nice.
Yeah, I used to feed them 3 times a week. But when the one on the left expanded, I just started feeding twice a week of just regular shrimp. Yeah, so yep, still have them.
Nice. All right, well, CJ's asking for the link, so let me just send that. He's got a few minutes. We've got to catch him when he's got a few minutes. Okay, there it comes. So GTA 5 vid's going to pick up a Salifert kit. Everything is on point. Calcium 550. Uses Red Sea Coral Pro Salt. No dosing yet. Yeah. Yeah, so many variables. Sometimes it's just one of those things you just, it's the troubleshooting. And I think that's another thing I love about this hobby is how you have to really learn how to do the right kind of troubleshooting to solve problems. And CJ says he has Neomag in the reactor, but he's going to test it. So that's good. Then you'll know for sure.
Sometimes when you have a calcium reactor, you just forget about everything except for alkalinity. It's like all you worry about.
Oh, I think I've had this before where just when I get my dosing all set up and 3, 4, 5 tests in a row, it's all stable. Then things start to look different. And it's like, oh, okay, wait a minute. So you test and suddenly it's not stable. So still early stages for me, learning a lot. Oh, look, Alex is showing us some eye candy over here. Let's take a look at it. Nice.
Same as always. It's a glowing part of the night. Or my stick should be glowing right now.
Yep.
Now let me grab my.
Oh, and CJ's in the waiting room, so we'll let him come in. So, guys, I guess I'll have to ask CJ the troll question, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, looks nice.
Okay, good.
So, Alex, you said earlier that your sticks are all here in the frag tank so that they can grow it a little bit.
Yeah, I still, I had a couple that had a couple little issues, and I dipped them. It looks like they're bouncing back, but I think it might have been just hand dosing elk might have upset them a little, but I'm just going to keep everything in here for a bit until it grows out, and that way I don't have to worry about fish knocking them off the frag plug and then me trying to dig through the sand to say, where did it go?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
All right. Let's get CJ in here. Put him on the spot with a hard troll question. Hey, CJ's Aquariums. You're ready. Okay.
Okay. I've never used this this StreamYard thing.
StreamYard, so, yep. Yep, we can hear you. Perfect.
All right.
Thanks for coming in. So here's I got the new glasses. All right. I'm the troll. Okay. So CJ, you should be able to answer this with your vast experience. And this is, of all the fish that are available, what is the one fish that you love, but you can never keep?
Oh, that is tough. So actually, I just got one of the fish that I always wanted to have, and that was the blue spot jawfish.
Right.
So, I guess, hell, none. I've kept everything I wanted. That's it.
So you've never run across a fish that you would love to have, but you can't have it.
I always liked Antheus. I always liked the school of Antheus, but I mean, I could try them, but I've never heard people having success with them, and I never felt I had a tank that was big enough to have them.
Right.
So,
yeah. Okay.
I hate to give CJ a hard time, but I know he loved his red cigar wrasse and didn't have a good time with it.
Man, I had one in here. It didn't make it a long time ago. That was one of the first live fish orders I put in here, and it didn't make it. But yeah, I love the cigar wrasse. If I can get another one, I would put it in here. But I think I'm pretty much at my limit.
I still got my red cigar, but the thing's about 7 inches long now.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want one that big right now. Pretty much, no fish can get in my tank unless he's small or juvenile. He has to be like 2.5 inches or so before I put him in here. So, no big guys. They got to grow themselves to get big. But hey, I'm here. So, what's going on?
Nice. Really nice to see you. It's been so long since we got to do these regular get-togethers. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
I cannot remember the last time, and I'm glad you got this going. It seems like it's a consistent thing. I've seen it a few times when you run this show. I popped in a couple times, but I didn't have time to stay.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that there's a place where people can come and actually just do it the old Reef Shack style.
Yeah, exactly.
Hang out and just talk and no craziness,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, But I'm
So
just trying to get mine together.
tank's looking nice. You got lots of color in there.
It is far from where I want it to be, but it's coming along. I got to deal with some algae issues post dino treatment, so that's pretty
Right.
much where I'm at now.
So you think the dinos are gone now?
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
That's
Without
good.
a doubt. I don't even see them on my sand bed anymore now. The only thing in my tank now is literally hair algae. That's it.
Have you dosed any fluconazole?
But we're coming along. Got a boneyard of corals that I have not mounted yet because I know I have algae that I'm going to have to knock off this rock probably tonight or tomorrow. So all the corals are just setting on the rock, which I don't like. I would rather have them mounted and start laying out my color scheme on how I'm going to have things. But we're doing okay. We're doing okay. Let me see if the jawfish is over here. There he is.
I love those fish. They're so cool.
They really are. Like they seriously are. This is my first time ever having one. I can't believe I spent that much money on a fish, but I'm glad I got them in here. But so yeah, that's pretty much it. Just gonna get rid of this algae and mount corals and start packing the tank with corals. The goal is to try to get all of the corals I want in here. I already have my livestock I want. This stock list is going to be the stock list I roll with till the tank breaks down. So just trying to get the tank stocked with corals, stocked with my livestock, tuned in with my calcium reactor, just in time for football. So that way when I take my hiatus again, the tank can just grow the rest of 2020 and not have to keep fooling with it. You know, no hands in it and just let it do its thing.
Yeah. I have to say I've been away from home since January 11th, 3 to 4 days a week to help with my new grandson. And my husband's been doing an awesome job. He tells me when stuff gets flipped over. He knows what to look for. He's been feeding. But one thing I haven't had him doing is dosing the various extra things that I do at certain times on certain days. And I'm just kind of letting the tank ride. I haven't seen any problems yet, but I'm a little scared that things might get out of balance a little bit. But so far it hasn't happened. But you know that feeling when you know you can't get your hands in your tank as often as you'd like.
Yeah, especially when you have it fine-tuned like you have yours. So, but you know, sometimes hands out of the tank is what you need.
That's very true.
Let me see if I can get this guy out eating.
And it is nice to be away for 4 days and come back and go, oh my God, that thing's a half an inch longer than it was when I left. The acropora are just going crazy right now.
It's a good
Your
sign.
tank has grown in crazy. I seen a video you did recently, and it's amazing. Are you still growing everything underneath the Kessels, or did you change anything major on that tank?
I have the Kessels. I have 2 Orfec OR2 120s, which are the bar LEDs. And I did a video a while ago called 6 Steps That Turbocharged My Reef Tank. That was back in November, I think. Mm-hmm. Because when I look back, I realized that there were some things that I had started doing that I really think contributed to all of a sudden it settled down and it just started to grow and it just took off. And this week I fragged my Pectinia and took all those. Well, I saved 3, 2 for me and 1 for a friend. But I took 18 into the fish store. And next up, I have to frag some Montipora with my little hand saw. So that's going to be nerve-wracking. But it's reached the point now where it's overgrowing and it's starting to become a problem. So not complaining, but it requires a whole new skill set.
Yes. Well, you sound like you're at the point to where you're finally maybe upgrading or something. You doing any upgrades?
Oh yeah, I've been talking about this for a while. We're going to be moving so that we're living closer to my daughter and her husband and new grandson. And right now we're about 45 minutes away, so it's a 90-minute round trip, and we're there a lot. So we're looking at a place that's about 15 minutes away. And today we saw a house that just might be the right place. So I already have a tank set up at her place that I have to get the cycle started, make the water that's in it into salt, just get it going. and the upgrade's going to be about a 300.
Oh wow. Okay. So you're
Hey,
not slam.
at my
Yeah,
age,
that's not good.
at my age, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it.
That's how you do it. Go
Well,
big.
you know what? It was something I was looking at, and when I look at some people's tanks that started like when I had the 120, and they still have their same tank, and you see the growth and success they've had, like you had, and like Reef Keepers had with his tank, Phil.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me feel like there should be a mandatory unwritten rule where you cannot be allowed to upgrade to a bigger tank until you master your current tank.
You know,
and by master,
yeah.
throwing it out and literally, getting to that point.
And I feel like one of the big reasons I want a larger tank is I want to see how big things, how they look when they're large. I want large areas of rock covered with Cyphastria or encrusting Montes or I don't know, even some of the other stuff. I've got a freak hair pavona. I would love to see that thing over a big piece of rock. And huge euphilia and huge colonies of acropora. And you're so limited in a smaller tank just because of warfare and space and maintenance and all of that stuff. So and then plus it's going to have a basement sump and probably another 200 gallons down there. So we'll see how it goes. It's it's going to be a lot of content for YouTube.
It sounds like a hell of a thing that's coming. And I mean, when you get to the point to where maintaining the tank isn't a challenge anymore, and you literally just know how to grow stuff, it just becomes easy for you. Then you start thinking about stuff like that. But
yeah,
there's so many people that are just still trying to keep stuff alive.
Yeah, and I've been through that. Believe me.
Right.
David L is asking for tips on Pectinia because he picked up a Space Invader frag. David, stable alkalinity, medium to low flow, medium light. So tuck it away in a corner of your tank that doesn't get blasted, but still gets decent light. I've always had mine on the sand bed, always. And stable alkalinity. Mine has recovered from 2 severe diebacks because of tank crashes. They are very hardy when you have the right conditions. I wouldn't say they're hard to grow. What they are is hard to frag. So anyway, that's all I can really say.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had a Space Invader. That's one I wouldn't mind trying out. I had a Pectina in the 120, but
I remember that. That was a beautiful one.
Yeah, I had one of those, but it's hard finding the things that you used to have. That's the tough part. But hey, every tank is its new challenges.
Yep.
Beating the dinos in this tank, I think, was a major one. I wasn't sure was going to happen or not because I've seen some people getting taken out by dinos.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but I don't know. That's it. This is kind of what's going on. I don't know if you guys have any questions, anything.
Hey, CJ.
Yep.
Quick question from Jessica J. What is that orange flowy coral on the lower left side? Is that a bubble tip anemone?
Yes, that is a Sherman Rose anemone. And that sucker is beautiful. He's not even fully open right now.
Wow, yes. I am jealous. That's nice.
That's probably one of the brightest names I've ever had. I don't know what's so special about the Sherman Rose name. Maybe they're the true anemones or something. Maybe they're the true rose anemones. I don't know. But he's not even fully open right now. Clowns are being hosted by it, which is even better. So you get that Wyoming white clownfish in the middle of that guy. It's beautiful. So.
How long have you had that anemone? And does it move a lot?
Got this one in December. So the original plan was to have the anemone on this side. I wanted an anemone on this side and an anemone on this side. So I wanted 2 of them. But he didn't like it over here. So he walked around the tank. And I got him to attach to this rock. His foot is actually attached underneath the rock. And once he got settled there, he's good. So, which is fine with me because this rock is isolated from the Allen. The worst part is I had this Allen rock touching the scape, not paying attention to it. And one of the nymphs escaped. This one. So he walked up to the main scape, So I'm gonna have to try to get him off and get him back on the little anemone island here, and then make sure he can't escape again. So, because I don't want an anemone on my main rockscape ever. I don't ever want that to be a thing. You know, especially with being SPS and other plants I want to put in here. I don't want an anemone have free reign to walk around the whole tank. But if you don't want it to walk, get it with a good foot, a spot to keep its foot. In this area here, no matter what kind of flow I have in the tank, it's kind of shielded. It's kind of like a cubby in this area right here. So even if flow is whipping from the gyros this way, it's shielded. From this way, it's shielded. So it's getting indirect flow. This anemone loves indirect flow. So anywhere else in the tank is getting hit, it doesn't like it. It takes off running.
That's interesting. That's the fine tuning that, you know, it takes you a couple of tanks to learn.
Yes, definitely.
Hey, Mo's Nano Reefs, thanks for coming in. Reefaholic says 2 streams going on at once. Can't keep up with this.
It's a good Saturday night.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
that's
what,
right.
when you're disconnected for a long time, it's good and it's bad. It's good because you realize there's other things in your life that you can do, you know.
Yeah.
But when you get back into it, it's like, man, it's like I was gone. It's like the whole world went 10 years ahead of me or something. It's like trying to catch back up. So
yeah,
so
I
much going on.
really missed kind of hearing in real time what other people were doing, and all the chatting about different little bits and pieces of stuff. And I mean, I really like watching YouTube videos. I subscribe to a lot of people. I do my best to watch all the videos that I get all the time. I can't always keep up. But it's different. It's different than this sort of instant back and forth interactive chat, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It definitely is. And honestly, I like bouncing ideas. I'm still learning ideas from people still to this day.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to get a hold of a old used canister filter because someone dropped a comment on one of my videos a long time ago and suggested instead of using a bucket and a filter sock and, you know, putting the water back in the tank to avoid a water change, but to kind of do the manual cleaning of the algae, he said, get a canister filter.
Yep.
And use that canister filter on maintenance days. So when you're sucking up the algae, you're not doing anything. You're not needing a water change. And that's mainly for people who don't have sumps. If I had a sump, you can wrap that into your filter sock and just, you know, do a siphon that way. But if you don't have a sump, then a canister filter is probably going to be the best way to do tank maintenance with no water change.
Yeah.
It's an awesome idea that I'm just waiting to try. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of those things.
Yeah, I had I think my 29-gallon cube, and the tank before that had a canister filter, and it was great. And Fish of Hex did a video on how the sponges and all the stuff in filters are nitrate factories. And I watched that and I went, oh, you know, I can see that because I was having nitrate issues at the time. So I replaced all of the stuffing in the canister filter with biofiltration media. It was Matrix. And the Matrix idea I got from watching your videos.
Yep.
And that tank just took off after I did that. It was amazing. And the 90 that I'm setting up as a staging tank for when I have to move my tank, because I want to get it cycled so that I have somewhere to put my stuff and turn my fish room back into a bedroom to sell my house. It's going to have a canister filter because it's a former freshwater tank. It's not drilled. I have no intention of drilling it. So I think they're really useful.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely work if you use them as your primary filtration, or if you just keep it in the closet and just pull it out for sucking out her algae. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Matrix. I still use Matrix. I've been using Matrix my entire time in the hobby. I haven't used anything else.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah. Yeah. I used. I have some Siperax in my sump, and it's also good. So I'm gonna be putting some of that in to seed it to put in the 90 into the filter.
Let me ask you this. You know, with you having an established, grown out tank, how are you keeping the nutrients up in your system? Are you one of those people that believe in overstocking and letting the fish waste do it, or dosing nitrates, phosphates manually? Is that something you've thought about or considered or crossed that bridge yet?
No, I haven't reached that point yet. I've been working to control nutrients, and I've reached the point now where I've got nitrates down to, let's say, under 20 consistently, under 10 most of the time, but not always. And phosphate, I've got down to under 0.08. That's kind of my target range, around anywhere from 0.05 to 0.08. So that's where I'm at right now. And I have a big ball of Kato in my sump that grows like crazy. I have a sump full of bubble algae, and I'm sure it sucks up the nutrients as well.
Yeah,
And
no problem.
yep. And I have 11 fish. So it's funny you should say that, because in the last couple of weeks, I've been looking at my tank and thinking, man, oh man, my tank looks too small for these fish. So it could be fish poo that's doing it. I have a good sand bed that I don't vacuum. I just fluff it up periodically. And I really think that stuff also helps feed the coral.
Yep, it definitely does. That's
So
funny.
no dosing.
I have 11 fish in mine. You have 11 fish in yours. My tank's
Yeah.
half yours.
Well, I have the Genicanthus angelfish that the male now is about 7.5 inches long with his streamers.
Oh,
and the female, and then the foxface has grown a lot. I've got the Tomini tang. So, and the wrasse, the green wrasse, is over 6 inches long. I think it's pretty much full grown. So that's a lot of big fish. Pardon?
Is it a green chorus wrasse you have?
Yes,
I have
it
the exact
is.
same one in here.
Yep, but mine
So
isn't green.
So he's gonna get that big. Yeah, he's green too. The blues is making him look different, but yeah, that's a green. So that guy, so yeah, all these guys are gonna be monsters in here.
Yeah,
in another 2 years. So we'll cross that bridge. But
yeah, he's always flipping stuff over on the sand bed, and he grabs a mouthful of sand and then he swims through the tank, spitting it out everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There are days I do not like that fish.
That's what that is what they do. But that was kind of my goal of overstocking this on purpose, planning ahead, or at least trying to plan ahead for having this tank completely packed full of corals and not having to worry about a nutrient issue as far as being too low of a nutrient. So at least that's the game plan. I don't know if it'll work out, but that was interesting hearing how yours works.
Well, I also dump in, when I think of it, the Continuum Microblast, which is a type of food, and Continuum Phytoblast, and the Zooblast, or Zooplankton Blast. And just when I think of it, I dump that stuff in. And periodically I feed also with ReefGrrl. I was doing it twice a week, but like I said, I've been away from home so much lately, I haven't really done it at all. So I am keeping a close eye on the nutrients because of the growth that's going on in there.
Right. It's kind of a give and take. It's kind of like the BRS. That BRS to that video, those guys were talking about their mistakes and kind of how they removed their sand bed and disturbed the tank, which stopped the coral growth, which because the coral stopped growing, it made the nutrients go up.
Yep.
None of those were issues. It's kind of crazy how things are in sync like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So, definitely interesting.
And the big thing with coral growth, if it stops, that I learned with this tank, is that the uptake of the dosing also stops. And suddenly your levels get way high because nothing is using it.
Right. Yep. That's kind of the same thing I had to deal with this tank, my calcium reactor. I had to back it off to where it's barely running. It's like 15 milliliters a minute, and I'm barely melting the media at like 6.95 pH in my reactor. So it's barely on right now. But the fact that I still have to have it barely on lets me know something is sucking it up in here. But until I stop having to move corals and actually can mount them and not have to worry about moving them because of algae getting brushed off and stuff, this tank still is never going to hit its growth spurt. So it'll come eventually, but
Well, how long has it been up now?
Almost a year. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Man, almost a year. It's crazy, but I lost like 6 months of that time with it just setting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was progressing with it. But you know what? I'm not even in a hurry. I'm not. I'm fine with it. Letting it run a year and not really doing a lot with it, it should make it easier in year 2. That's the goal. I've never had a tank past year 2.5. I think the JBJ 45 I had 2.5 years.
Yep.
But other than that, I've never had a tank past that point. I want to get to a 3-year tank. I want to see if I can get.
Yep. Well, my 3 years will be up May 29th.
There you go.
So I'll be 3 complete years. That's from the start of the cycle. If I talk about when I started putting livestock in, it's more like July 15th. Right. So July this year, my tank will be 3 years old. But it's not the oldest tank I've had, but it's definitely, well, it's the biggest, but it's definitely the most variety of coral that I've ever had.
Yeah. So do you think it's a realistic time for anyone new in the hobby to make it to 3 years? I mean, what was the challenge getting to 3 years, timetable wise?
Yeah, it's a good question. I really wish more people would give it that time. I think what happens is, okay, so here's what happens is when you first set up your tank, everything's great. Things grow. You don't kill stuff because there's nothing in your tank yet in terms of imbalances to kill anything. So stuff does really well. Then it starts to die because you haven't learned yet about all the different ways you need to balance everything. And you have to figure out why it's dying. So what also happens, I think, is people get really ambitious with too much coral. They lose a lot, but some of it does really well. So they think, well, if I get a bigger tank, greater water volume, more stability. So rather than see it through, they upgrade. Right. And that I think it's that continual process of upgrading to chase the perfect size where everything can have space to grow. It doesn't give you the opportunity to work with what you have and understand how it all works together. So I don't think there's a simple answer to that. I think maybe the answer is don't have a timetable. Just take it day by day and address one problem at a time. Try and learn what's going on, learn how things work together. There is so much. I mean, these guys that really know what they're doing, they're at a level where, I don't know, I can't even think of an example of stuff that they do that I'm just shaking my head going, I don't even know how you'd figure out how to do that. When they talk about balancing nutrients and, you know, it's just amazing. There's so much more to learn. So I really wish people would take their time and just let their tank mature for what it is.
You can never learn how to maintain a mature tank until you get a mature tank.
That's right.
Definitely. I mean, that's something I learned on that 120. I learned more with that tank than I had with the tank before. This tank here, all the issues I've had with it has taught me something else. So it's like I've stopped looking at tanks the way they look being my gauge for success. I look at it as far as what I've learned from them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this year is 1 year old. I don't have it full of corals, but getting over all the hurdles I have this year, that's plenty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One problem at a time, right?
That's it. Floods, hoses broke, 25 gallons of water on the floor, dinos, hair algae, losing all kinds of stuff. Oh, man, I don't even know.
Hey, Jose, yeah, you're saying?
Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to call it a night.
Okay.
And thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
But I'm not gonna hold it up.
Thanks for
I'm gonna
same over here.
Thanks for showing us your tanks there, Jose. They're looking good. I can hardly wait till you get your sump in there. See what happens with that.
I can't wait. I got a couple projects on the 75 lighting wise that I'm playing with, and after that, I really need to make a YouTube video on
see what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. You guys can hear me or not?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so I was getting ready to drop off. I just wanted to hop in and chit chat for a second. So it's a great thing you're doing. I'm glad you got it going, and I will try to come back again, and hopefully the tank will be in a little better shape. And,
nice.
Get you guys an update. So you all have a great Saturday night.
You too. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Same
All
here,
right.
ReefGrrl. I gotta drop soon too, cause I gotta do a little story time with my daughter
Yeah, it sounds like
before
she's
she
a busy
passes
one.
out.
All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Benny.
Thanks for having
I'm
me.
glad you came in. Okay, good night.
Yep.
All
Finally.
right. Good
Thanks.
night.
Bye.
Bye. And Jose. Thanks. Thank you too. And maybe
right.
we'll see you next week.
Yeah. All right. Good night.
Okay. Good night. All right. Who have we got here now? Alex. Oh, Alex and his darkness.
Yeah, it's almost lights out here.
Insane Reefer says, I think every time you start over, it gets better for you. I kind of agree with that. And it's not that you won't make mistakes. You'll just make different mistakes that are unique to whatever the new thing is that you've got set up. So the red light, is this so that you can look at stuff without it seeing you? Or is this just
No,
your
this is
freeze
just
light?
this is just the refuge light still going.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
One of the three on there. I'd agree though. You always learn something every time you set something else up new.
Yeah.
I know when I get to the point of doing another setup, I'm gonna always change up a few things.
Yeah. One thing I want to add with the bigger setup is a dedicated tank that's used only for water changes. So it will be the first point of contact for the overflow. That's where I'll have all my filtration socks and not socks, but pads and stuff. And I want to be able to turn that off and bypass it and drain it and refill it so that all of that water, then the new water then flows into the sump, gets mixed up and whatever before it goes back up to the tank. And that's something that I'm going to have to do some reading on and just see what the best way is to set that up.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to go, to be able to just empty a tank and then refill it. I've often thought about just from the water volume aspect to have extra water volume too.
Yeah. Well, Blue Carbon Reefing, I'm pretty sure he's the first person I saw who has that. And oh, good night, American Reefing. Thanks for stopping by. And he has what looks like one of those U-line barrels, if I remember right. So essentially, it's just kind of the water passes through there. He bypasses it, he drains it, refills it, and opens up the valves again. I'm thinking more of a tank which receives the pipes from the overflow, so that I can do first stage mechanical filtration.
How big of a tank are you thinking?
For water change, I think around 100 gallons.
Okay.
So that, not that I would always do a 100-gallon water change, but if I had to, I could.
Right. See, my way to go would be get something like this.
Yes. Yeah, I think, in fact, Ace Rotomold, I think Pelfrey has those. That might be what John at Blue Carbon Reefing actually has.
Yeah, I think he's got a big one. The one that's a little bit bigger than this, if I recall right.
Yeah.
What size is this?
These are 100 gallons.
Mm.
And then, I went with the HDPE tanks for the sumps too, because after having one tank with one, I was like, oh, I need to get these for everything now.
See, at those containers, they also save space.
Yeah. And even though these are off the ground a little bit, I originally got them so that they wouldn't be too tall to be a pain to get into when I need to mix salts or do water changes, and they're not too bad where they're at.
Look at all those pipes. I think we were talking with Laminar Flow that one night about his PVC addiction.
It's not too bad. There's some extra things hanging here, like heaters on one for when I heat this up for a water change.
Right. So you heat your.
So you don't leave your. I'm sorry, Cindy. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So you don't leave your heater inside?
No, not in this.
You just dump it in there, warm it up, and then do the water change.
Well, so these are just normally, like right now, they're just filled with fresh.
Mm-hmm.
So the ATO pump is hanging down here somewhere. So if I'm going to do a water change, I'll fill it up to max, and then I'll yank my ATO pump out because it's a Neptune one, and they don't like salt water.
Right.
So I put that out, and then I'll mix in. When I'm going to start mixing salt, I'll throw the heater in, and it usually takes about half a day because it's just a 500-watt heater.
Okay.
So I'll turn. I got a Mag 12 on here that I use to recirculate, and then generally dumping salt in this barrel, and then I just let it naturally flow between them with the pump. So.
Yeah, one feature of the house we looked at today is that there's a rough-in for a bathroom in the basement that's right beside the room I would use as my sump room. So my husband had a brainstorm that should become my workroom with a giant stainless steel sink because all the drains are there and all the water's there. And who needs another bathroom? There's already 2 in this house. And the location of it right beside the sump room would be great to set up the RODI and salt mixing as well.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do a water change system, putting in the plumbing to just pump it straight out into a sink, or like I connected mine into one of my main waste lines. So
nice. Yeah, John, Blue Carbon Reefing says his 200 gallons are for RO and salt mixing.
Yeah, these are definitely the way to go with containers. I think the only thing that's a little bit of a disadvantage is just ordering them. Like generally, they're not that expensive for the tanks. It's the shipping to get them to you.
I think it was Pelfrey who figured out what size you need to get free shipping. So if you get a certain minimum size, they do free shipping for that. Maybe that might not be true anymore, but at the time.
Yeah, I have one tank that I got, the one for my protein skimmer I got on Amazon, and that one, I know the shipping was very reasonable on it, but my big 265-gallon one, the actual roto-mold place is about 30 minutes from my house, so when I ordered from Plastic Mart, I was like, is there any way I could not pay $300 and come pick it up myself?
Did they let you?
Yeah. They were like, oh, we'd be more than happy to let you come over and pick it up. That's fine.
That's nice.
So.
Do they have, I mean, this is 100. Do they have something small like a 50 or 75?
Oh, yeah. Go to plasticmart.com and just start. They make almost every size you could think of, like different diameters, different heights. I mean, because one of the other things was for me is making sure it's something that'll fit through a doorway.
Yeah.
Because when you get them much bigger than I'll admit, when I got my protein skimmer tank, I had to get a couple of kicks to get it through the molding of the door frame.
Wow.
And the 265 I have, I wish I was making videos when I got that tank, because literally it fit the entire staircase, and I was doing it by myself to get it downstairs, and I was like, oh crap, like got it halfway down the stairs and I hit something, and I was like, uh-oh, I don't know if I can get it out of here.
Yeah, once you're wedged in there, what do you do?
Yeah, I managed to do it somehow.
John, I'm sorry, Lynn Reef Nerd says that I'm making her want to buy a new house. And Blue Carbon Reefing says he built a new house just so he could build a bigger reef tank. Oh, I can relate to that.
Yeah, my next house is going to be a little different layout for my stuff next time. My wife is a little scared because I've already kind of told her where my gears are turning and how I want to make like dual peninsula tanks and.
Yep.
Alex, what was the website again?
Plasticmart.com.
MART.
Yep. Yeah, they sell. These are all HDPE tanks. So they have it, and they basically are like a conglomerate. Like all the different rotomold places they sell, and it's actually cheaper to buy it from them than to go to some of the builders themselves. So Amazon's not a bad place to look too. I did find my one there.
Let's see.
I wonder if that would be free shipping with Prime.
I know I did not get free shipping with mine, but it was significantly cheaper than I thought it would be. It was only like $60 or something. Which, I mean, for a 60-gallon tank, I mean, it wasn't too bad. So
Yeah, I haven't even gotten a quote yet. And my husband was asking me about that the other day because, I mean, I need to come up with a budget, but I don't know yet what space I'm going to have to work with. So
For
if I
the sump area, the sump room, or
no, for the tank itself.
Okay.
Because if I can get 8 feet, I'll go for 8 feet. But if I get 7 feet, then it'll be 7 by 36 by 24, I believe is right around 300 gallons.
that'd be a nice size.
Yeah, nice footprint. I love the deep front to back, and I want coast to coast overflow. I don't want any jogs in the back wall. And I also want to be able to keep it clean and have it large enough to hold power heads so that they can be grinding away the whole time and keep everything suspended so it doesn't get loaded with gunk.
Glass or acrylic?
I want to go glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my preference.
Blue Carbon Reefing says that's where he got his 3 plastic tanks from, Monica. Plastic Mart, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. They got stackable water tanks, pressure washer, detail tanks. Oh, so that's where those people get that from.
Yeah, they got some crazy looking stuff in there and some insanely giant tanks too. But I always look at open top tanks for sumps, and then generally you could just find the cylinder tanks.
Let's see.
Or if you want a skimmer body, you can get a cone bottom inductor tank.
They have everything.
Right?
When I saw that, I was like, do you know how much? I was just thinking, I was like, do you know how much that would be to buy like a preformed piece of acrylic for that skimmer? Like, that's why it's so expensive.
Kidding.
It's the acrylic.
Yeah, no kidding. And so when you get the large tanks that are essentially like tubs, are the sides formed such that it prevents deflection when they're filled with water?
So it depends on the size tank you get. So originally I had a 120 that I got, and when you filled this thing up to the brim, it would start to bow a bit.
Yeah.
And the 265, I knew that was gonna be a potential thing. So Plastic Mart sells like stainless steel tank stands. But I could tell you right now, 2x4s are a lot cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So-
that's what we had to do with my RO and salt mixing tubs. Was my husband had to build wooden bracing because the sides were bowing so much it was affecting the integrity of the plumbing between the 2 tanks. And for whatever reason, we just never even thought of that until they were full. And I went, oh, this isn't going to work. So he built framing to hold the sides in.
Yeah, they're incredibly strong tanks, and they're fairly lightweight. And I mean, I kind of look at it, they're relatively inexpensive for their size.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, they're food. Generally, they're all food grade. So.
Yep. And when you have to take them down the stairs, you can just put it on the top and give it a push.
Yes. As I recall now with this big 265, there was some kicking and there's still
Yeah.
a dent in the drywall up at the top where the tank hit, and I started kicking on it because it got wet.
Unlike a glass tank where you'd be crapping your drawers trying to get it down the stairs.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I'll be looking at the next time I do tanks. I think I'm going to do 4 sides of glass and just make a wood bottom,
Yeah.
top frame. I'd really love to go peninsula. That's the way I want to go, but we'll see.
My God, they have so many options on this thing. It's like overwhelming.
Yeah, and then when you start looking at specific specifications for them, they generally have like a PDF with all the measurements. If their sheet doesn't make sense, or their main description.
So you look under the open top tanks.
For sump tanks, that's what I got. I went under their rectangular open tops.
But what about the storage for the water?
Should be able to just find a cylinder or cylinder storage tanks. Been a while since I've been on their site.
They got cone bottom tanks, septic tanks, fiberglass tanks, steel water tanks.
Yeah, it's a, and they're very. I'll tell you, if you ever call them and have questions, they are incredibly friendly. Very happy to help.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Of course, when I'm looking for it, I can't find it. Oh well. I got bladder tanks, for crying out loud.
I suddenly drop. Oh, my phone battery's at 10%, so that will be why.
Blue Carbon Reefing says plastic water tanks is the category for the cylinder tanks that are water and food grade approved. Yeah, Alex, no worries. We're getting to 11:23 p.m. and get close to the witching hour. Oh, pipefish. Nice pipefish. Is that a feather star?
No, it's just a brittle star. I as much as I'd love to attempt a feather starfish, I don't know if I could bring myself to try it. Yeah,
I feel like that about lizards and stuff. I like lizards, but I don't think I could look after them properly so they'd have a good life, to tell you the truth.
I think if I had another like 500 gallons of refugium, then I might say, you know what, maybe I'd try something like that where I know that I have enough, marine snow going.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of marine snow, something that's been happening in my big tank recently that's got me pretty excited is I get that almost every night now. When I hold the flashlight above so that I can check the polyp extension on my acros, the entire tank is filled with dust in the water. And it blows me away to see this. So it's got to be exactly that. It's marine. It's not something I'm putting in. It's something that seems to be happening naturally.
Yeah, that's why I tend to not use filter socks or anything. It's like the little fish breeding and the shrimp breeding and all the little worms and stuff that are always breeding.
Yep. I use rolled up filter floss now in my filter cups. So I have the Red Sea filter cups and I take pieces of pinky filter and cut them, 3-4 inches wide. And then I roll them up in a sausage and stick them in the filter cups and they kind of expand. So 2 things happen. They do catch a lot of the gunk that comes down from the tank, but they also allow a lot of little particles to get through. And so now that I keep my main section of my sump stirred up with a little pump and an air stone and the skimmer outflow, I'm not so worried about detritus accumulating, and I really think that contributes to the survival of a lot of this stuff. Because there's nothing that, other than the skimmer, there's nothing that's really catching them and filtering them out of the water, if you like, if they're small enough. Okay, what is this now? That looks like a skeleton of something.
Yeah, I was looking to see if any of the little critters are starting to come out.
Cool.
Oh, that might help now that lights went out. I mean, pretty much every one of these little dots is.
Oh, look at that! Is that a little fish?
No, that was a.
Where?
And most of those white dots are all copepods. That might be a little isopod.
Wow, it looked like a fish swimming up and down the glass.
Oh, that was a mysis shrimp.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. Still a little early for them. Let's see. Oh, my bristleworms start coming out this time in the refuge tank. Always breeding.
Oh, that's cool. Is that some sort of an anemone?
This is a hitchhiker coral on my live rock that's non-photosynthetic.
Oh, cool.
Got a couple of heads on it, and got a few of them. There's another one over there, and there's a couple others down here somewhere. So
That is so awesome that you have that space available for whatever grows to grow.
yeah, and I put all the live rock in here. It's just, a lot of this stuff I just let it go and just let it run wild.
Marcus's Reef says he wishes he could have a tank like yours.
Yeah, the microfauna that's such a huge piece for the way I look at the tanks and being successful.
Yeah, I agree with you. The more of that kind of stuff that's there, the more natural food everything is going to get.
Some little critter.
I
Looks like a
love
bicycle.
at night. You see so much going on.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to see because the mysid shrimp tend to start coming out. Well, they're going back there real heavy. I don't know how it looks to you guys, but
Okay, my cat is running laps around the basement behind my green screen. I can just imagine him launching himself. He weighs like 20 pounds. He's a polydactyl, and he's tall enough to stand up and put his paws on top of the table. So he's big. I can't even see him. I'm not going to look. What is that thing with the spikes on it, Alex? To the right and up a little? Yeah, right. Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, just some pallies.
Some sort of polyps.
My dendros over here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's not too active over here yet. A few critters are starting to run around.
Halen Reef Nerd, I see you've sent me a message on Insta. I'll take a look at it a little later. Nice. Oh, there he is again.
He's huge.
Is that the tank that Miss Stabby is in?
No, I'm back at the main reef because you can see
Okay.
my cucumbers are coming out.
Right.
Let's see, I don't know where my big.
Oh, I see your fish there sleeping or trying to sleep.
Yeah, he's probably like, why? What is with the light here?
Like, get that light out my eye.
Yeah, get it out of my face, dude.
Bubble coral's in night mode.
Yeah. My bubble coral is definitely bouncing back. The bubbles on it are really big now. So I think it's just a matter of time before it starts to extend over the skeleton again. We'll see. Hey, John, thanks for coming in. Blue Carbon Reefing is headed to bed. It's been a fun but long day. I can just imagine. Thanks for stopping by. John, maybe one of these days we can have you show us what you have going on with the 300 and maybe do a bit of a tour. That would be awesome.
Yeah, show us that tank.
Yeah. It ain't real until we see the pictures.
I'm at 5% on my phone battery, so I think I am going to call it a night.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so
As
glad you
always.
could come in. This has been really good. Yep, I should probably call it a night too. We got 11:30 p.m. or 11:32, and still have a dog to walk in the snow.
Oh man.
So yeah, thank you everybody who stopped by tonight, and thank you, Monica, for coming in. I know next time you come in, we'll probably have some tank stuff to look at.
Yes. I'm hoping.
Yep, awesome. Okay, so that's it. We're gonna call it, and Good night, and I appreciate everyone who was a guest tonight. I appreciate all the chat that was going on, and for anyone watching the replay, if you stuck with it this long, thank you and congratulations. And we will see you next week. Well, now, thanks so much to everyone who came along tonight, in the studio, in the chat, and watching. And to those of you who are watching the replay, thank you too for sticking around to the end. I hope you'll join me for next week's live stream, Saturday, February the 8th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great week.